This week, you got so excited about the defensive line at Iowa that you wanted to do something on them. I don't think there's any better compliment for a coach but to see his work on the screen and say, wow, those guys are being coached at a really high level.
Well, when you coach for so long, your eyes go right just not to the athlete, but what's the athlete doing? The number one thing especially defense line, really all positions, number one is effort.
Right.
That's a thankless job a lot of times playing defense line, but number one is effort. Number two is hands. And when I say violent hands, tight hands, which means inside the framework of a player, and then violent to be able to disengage, because the offense line, what are they trying to do? Trying to grab you.
Right.
Violent hands, and to me that's coaching. That's repetition over and over again. It's strength and it's violent hands. The third thing I look for is leverage. Defensive linemen that play high, no good. There's no value in you. And it's coaching and teaching. It's discomfort of a D lineman. Think about the visual of 600 pounds of bodies coming on you, and you got to play with leverage to not get knocked off the ball. And then finally, we're in a world where pass rushing is the difference maker in games. And Iowa, Coach Kelvin Bell, Iowa's always under Phil Parker, Iowa's always had great defenses. And what are they doing? They're developing into elite players. You watch Iowa's defensive line, as well coached as there is in the country, and it's easy to see on video.
Well, let's take a look, because it's pretty impressive. Coach, first characteristic is effort. Let's take a look at number 99, Noah Shannon, and talk about effort.
Yeah, effort is all positions, but none more. You can flip on the videotape and see that within a few plays that the defensive line is well coached. Number one is effort. Here you're going to see to our right, it's a 3 technique. That means he's lined up in the B gap. That's a 300-pound man, like you said, Noah Shannon. Watch him launch his body. This, once again, 300 pounds. That, to me, that's great effort. That is not normal for a man to do that. So What is that? That's coaching and that's effort.
Coach, let's move on. Next thing is hands. Take us through what that looks like.
One of the most undervalued skills in football. So for the viewer, focus on the right side. Number 95, Aaron Graves. Number 91, the defensive end lined up over the tight end. And when we say violent hands, let's focus on the 3 technique. The right tackle is blocking down on. Watch his hands. Watch it violent. This is what I mean by violent hands.
Right.
74 is taught to engage, stay engaged. The defensive line is just disengaged. Someone's going to win.
All right, Coach, effort, hands, and now we go to leverage, and we're going to look at Noah Shannon again, who we looked at when we were talking about his effort.
Yeah, you talk about a thankless job. You know, people don't wake up and say, hey, I'd love to be a defensive tackle, 600 pounds of mass coming on you every snap. So take a look for the viewer. It's the left defensive tackle, number 99, Noah Shannon. You can see he's about to get double teamed by the center and the left guard. That's if you lose leverage, you're going to get knocked off the ball. Noah Shannon here does a great job keeping what? Leverage. What's leverage mean? His pads are below the pads of the offensive players blocking him. That is not natural. That's coached. I'm watching this right now. You've done this a long time too, Gerry. This is a practice rep. He's done this 600 times in practice and through spring ball and training camp. Watch him disengage. Watch the left guard for Purdue get knocked down. The right guard, excuse me, for Purdue get knocked down. Number 9's in the hole, makes a play. Why? First of all, it's effort.
Right.
Pretty good hands, but in this kind of situation, it's all about leverage.
Absolutely. Coach, you make it sound like playing defensive line is no fun. There is the fun part of it, and it's the pass rush.
It is a pass rush, and that's why that's the fun part. Let's watch number 91. Number 91 is Lucas Van Ness and Deontay Craig, number 45. And visualize what 91's taught here. 91's taught to get to a 7 to 8 yard depth. His job is to push either sack the quarterback, don't allow him to scramble out of there, but pushing forward. And here's a cool thing about Iowa's defense. This is team defense. Number 45, Deontay Craig, his job is to push the pocket. He has to stay in if you're selfish, you come out of the lane. So the defensive end, get to 7 to 8 yards.
Right.
The drop, that's the average drop of a quarterback. Force quarterback to step up. He steps up, and he gets cut in half here. So everybody focus on the defensive end, number 91. Lucas Van Ness coming off the edge. He powers. That's called a big arm for the viewer. Watch the right arm. He gets him leaning back. Quarterback, by the time he sets at 7, 8 yards, he's already getting pressured. So what's he have to do? Has to step up in the pocket. And there's a big boy, Deontay Craig, and they cut this guy right in half.
One way to evaluate the way a defense is coached is pursuit angles. And you picked this play out. Explain the pursuit angles to us.
So here's a bootleg or just to roll out by the quarterback. And I want everybody to focus on the defense line. I'm going to pause it here for a second. I want to focus on the defensive line pursuit angles. You never want to follow the same color jersey. So you space out, ideally, 5 yards. That's about perfectly spaced apart, 5 yards. You also never want to follow the same color jersey, and you want to not allow a cutback. What's that mean? You can't over pursue. We would say stay on the backside hip with a bottle carrier.
Once they establish contain, which they've done, there's no lane inside because everyone's in the correct pursuit angle. There's no green grass without a white jersey on it.
This is a non-talent. This is not about recruiting. This is about coaching, and the players believe in what the coach is telling them.
Phil Parker does an incredible job with the Iowa defense, defensive coordinator.
Certainly does.